Jen.
My name is Charlie Hernandez.
My name is Asma Gilani.
My name is Joella, tar button and a hyphen in Springfield like the town. And they call me Jada.
Hi, I'm Matt Jennings.
My name is Talita Shaker.
And I'm Community Liaison for the Town of Acton.
I am specifically the community liaison that works with students.
The community liaison for the MVP program out here in Sudbury, Massachusetts.
I am volunteer at the Abington Food Pantry, and I help the team get some information from the Brazilian community over here because I'm a Portuguese speaker.
I live in the beautiful town of Acton, and recently I've been working as a community liaison.
What's a community liaison? A community liaison is someone who has strong connections with people in the community who are not often involved in town planning processes. In MVP 2.0, each project team has community liaisons who are from or have strong connections to environmental justice and other priority populations who may be most impacted by climate change. Throughout the project, a community liaison makes sure that the project team is connecting with and learning from the ideas, needs, and concerns of others in the community.
So the community liaisons, I feel they're very important to this project because we're able to kind of unearth and hear from members of the community that we don't normally hear from, that don't normally participate in government, being that they're a student or they're a non-English speaker. And it's very important to hear all of those voices when you're making decisions about climate change and the future of our community.
Just in general, students, especially like high school or younger, might not always have the opportunity to reach out to government officials in our town. And through MVP 2.0, some of their thoughts and their ideas are being able to be heard because they have somebody to go through to get to that level, which is quite unique and one of the best features MVP 2.0 has, especially for the younger generation, because oftentimes they might not get heard.
What's the role of a community liaison? A community liaison reaches out to others in the community, learns about their experiences, gets their perspective and input on certain ideas, and invites them to attend or participate in events or activities. Most importantly, a community liaison helps to make sure that the project or planning process reflects what they learn from talking to others in the community.
We kind of act as like communicator, a connector for the town. And my role has been really fun, actually. I've actually enjoyed myself. So we go to potlucks, we'll go have a meeting in the playground, we'll go talk to people and try to understand, especially after identifying certain vulnerable populations, we try to figure out what are the things that might be important for us to know and maybe relate to the town as far as when we want to develop that climate action plan, is everybody represented? So I think through this position, the role that we've played is to get everybody to understand the other person's point of view.
I had the privilege of participating of the interviews at the Abington Food Pantry, so was better than I expected. I could talk with a lot of people and they could share their thoughts about the problems, about the climate change that the town have, and I could get a lot of feedback. And I didn't expect that, like, people having a way to solve problems like the way that I had on that day.
What's the value of the community liaison model?
From my perspective, being in the town for 4 years now, I've been a part of a lot of community outreach activities, and it's often like so hard to get a diverse set of people in the room. And we're constantly trying to figure out how can we better reach out to the population, how can we get greater representation at the table and more perspectives. And this unique process of hiring and paying for time spent by people in the community really does make it possible to bring in new voices and actually paying people for their time and their commitment. Because at the end of the day, it is a job. It's a job to reach out to the community. It's a job to provide your perspective. And it's an excellent model, and I think it's one that we're going to apply in other initiatives as well.
I think the MVP 2.0 program is successful because it provides a new way for community members to be a part of policy and change in their own town, which is really crucial for democracy as a whole. And I think we've been really successful in generating feedback and responses to our questions and see what the community really feels about the climate, and as well as for me personally, it's really opened my eyes to other perspectives in the community. I think that's really crucial as well, because before this, I had considered other populations that I wasn't familiar with, like renters or the elderly. And I think even that, considering that and even taking the time to think about these things is really just one step in the right direction.